This is the Date Night Dice podcast, a podcast mostly about board games.
Probably not.
Hello and welcome to episode number 46 and a half of the Date Night Dice podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
I'm Ken.
And the half is thrown in there because, yes, we're 30 minutes into recording when I realized that I never hit the record button. So there's 30 minutes of Date Night Dice conversation that you guys will never get to hear.
It was the funniest stuff ever.
We were the only ones there.
You'll have to continue to listen to catch just a glimpse of how funny that was.
Right. Just a taste. It was our best stuff ever. I'm like hot and embarrassed. Like I feel so stupid, to be honest with you. It's really dumb.
It happens.
We hit on torturing people in workouts, Ken trying to figure out the humidity in his garage and where he's going to do some dumbbell presses. But whatever. When I finally realized that we were not recording, Ken was in the middle of telling us how he's a roller coaster man, but not necessarily wants to ride the monster.
That's right. We went to local amusement park, Valley Fair, which is a decent-sized park. I grew up in southeastern Michigan, where you are in day drive distance to Cedar Point, which is like
a whole nother level.
A mecca. And we used to do that a ton as kids every summer. But we went out, we did some rides. We did the water park. We did rides again. I failed to properly feed my children, and they chose that they would rather die than eat like French fries. Like, can you just get some calories? Can you just get some calories in you? That's all I'm asking for. That is the point
where you're like, you know what, a pretzel's healthy enough. Like you're at a breaking point where you're like, I just something.
I think on the way out, because we were with a super big group, we had 4 other families of 2 or 3 kids each. So it was probably 12 kids, 5 parents, including me. And on the way out, it was like, we need to stop to eat a pretzel. Literally a pretzel. We had to get pretzels. And I think Will ate too, because it's like, I need you to not be hysterical when we get home either.
Yeah.
So here's an $8 pretzel down your gullet. Ugh. But it was a fun experience. But the lesson learned was thrill rides are out over once you're past 30. Because the up and the down and the herky jerk and the this and that way, we're not built for that anymore. Roller coasters, maybe, but I didn't go on any roller coasters because my kids got scared of.
Did you guys do any adult ones?
I would have been like,
no.
You guys got to wait. I'm going on the ride.
You got to do the wild thing. That was like the big one back in the day.
I wasn't feeling good because we did the monster, which was a octopus.
It's so funny that you say that because Megan, your wife, put up an Instagram story. It was of you on that ride, and I was like,
right away.
I was like, this is a terrible.
Yeah, we both said, "Oh no!" Like
this is going to blow up. I couldn't believe you were on it because I know I can't go on rides like that anymore.
It's been so long. Like, I didn't think.
Oh God.
I don't know. Mm-mm. Yeah, but
we both saw that and said, no.
Did that ride, and immediately ate a garbage park hamburger. And I probably would have done a roller coaster if I wasn't feeling so ill after those two those 2 items.
I like a garbage hamburger. It's hard. A burger has to be really bad for me to not like it.
Maybe it was really bad.
Let me describe the 2 bad things about it. It was clearly straight from the freezer.
Yeah.
And the fat content felt like it had been deep fried. I think they put the burger patty in with the French fries.
It's like a meatloaf.
Yeah. It was sort of like it had been it was like airy.
All right, never mind.
It was sick.
Never mind.
It was disturbing.
Gross.
Did you guys do the wave? Do they still have the wave?
Oh yeah, the wave pool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thing where someone just goes down in like a big thing and you stand on the bridge and hold on where it goes whoosh.
That's a classic.
That's a classic. Every park has to have that.
It's one of the first things you see. It's just a raft that goes up, turns, and then goes down into a pool.
That's it.
You're done in 2 seconds.
And you
like
can
a slide
stand on the bridge. Yeah, you can stand on the bridge and get blasted by this water that comes at you.
And that's where everyone like you said, Ken, when it's like 90 and humid and you're dying of heat stroke at the park, you just stand there and you get just taken out so you can then be wet. And
I saw they had a fan. It was a small shed called the family dryer, and it's next to that, and it's exactly what it sounds like. 3 or 4 people bunch in there, and it just microwaves you and blows fans at you to heat you. I think it's infrared heaters and fans, and it just goes.
This is mind blowing.
Right, and there's people in there just like you can't see them. It looks like static because there's hair and clothes and bags
I wish
everywhere.
it would be like, in planes, trains, and automobiles, when they're driving, they turn into skeletons.
Exactly.
Like that. Like it's strobing and they're like.
And then skeleton and they come out dry. That's right. And I thought, that's pretty cool, but I'm not getting
that is really
today.
Cool.
It was too hot out. But it was a lot of fun.
I can imagine, though, being like, well, it's a little chilly today, and if you get wet, you're screwed. Sure. So that's pretty
That's
awesome.
true if it's chilly out. Well, Ken's over here riding on rides, getting sick. You're out having all kinds of fun, too. Different kinds of amusement.
Wow. Okay.
Are you amused?
Look,
weird.
I'm doing my best here.
So
guys.
after the last podcast,
remember I lost half of the episode
you're
already.
Like panicking. So after the last podcast, that weekend, I went with Natalie from the Gamecasters and Sam, Miss French Toast.
That looked fun. Man,
we just had like a weekend. Jealous. We did like an Airbnb and hung out. And for the most part, we just we played some games. We hung out. We went to an alpaca farm, which was awesome.
Crazy.
We got to pet the alpacas and whatnot. And we just, I don't know, we played Project L, Scout, and the game. We had, what was funny is so ahead of time we were like, you bring this, I'll bring this. Should we bring, we're like talking ahead of time. And Natalie was like, I'm going to bring Quacks of Quedlinburg. And normally I'm not a huge fan of like the push your luck, just kind of drawing games. Mm-hmm. But I like that game. I'm fine with that game. And Natalie had it on the table, and Ryan came up and he was like, Emily's going to hate this. And he took it away from the pile, brought it back downstairs. And when we got there, I was like, where's Quacks of Quedlinburg? And I was so ready to play it.
Oh,
and
man.
Natalie's like, Ryan wouldn't let me bring it.
Yikes.
And I was like, what the hell?
He's like protecting you.
Yeah. Right. He was like, Emily's going to be so angry. And like her little, description of him.
Look,
but
she's my friend, not yours. She's not going to like
this. She is going to hate this. It was super fun. We went to some restaurants that were a little iffy for the area.
Really?
I hate going to bad restaurants.
Amusement park burgers?
No, but like we went to a taco place. When we looked up reviews, it was really good. And we got there, and the sign was like, we're short-staffed, which is like, yeah, I understand. Sure. That's fine. Yep. We probably stood there for 10, 15 minutes while they like made eye contact and then just kind of went back to what they're doing. And we're like, hello, we're just like, I can see you're just chit-chatting and not doing anything. And once we finally got to our table, the server was very much like, do you want chips? And like throwing shit on the table. And we're like, I'm sorry, are you angry that we're here?
Oh, man.
It was one of those like, it was just bad all around. But
weird.
I don't know, it was still fun to like,
Good
you
food,
go home and you bitch about it.
Least?
It was cold tacos. So it was very disappointing. But, the next
gives
night
you
was good.
Shared misery.
Yeah, right? But it was fun. It was nice to just go hang out and
nice.
Ken, what is this that you wrote in the Google Doc? Dan Patch Days? I don't know what that means.
Saying that.
What does that mean?
Dan Patch Days.
Playing a character right now.
I screwed up, Em.
I want you to be an old guy who used to do interviews. And now
I'm seeing 3 words, and I'm unable to put them together into a cohesive.
Dan Pat. I know these 3 words apart, but I don't know what it means when they're together.
Are these like Wordle guesses? No, we had so apparently Dan Patch, which I think is either a man or a horse. Who I'm genuine. I don't know if it's the man or the horse.
Not sure what you were gonna say there.
Founded what?
Founded the town we live in. Savage, Minnesota.
Shouldn't it have to be a man then?
Well,
A horse found
you would think. You would think. It could have been a horse.
You would think.
There is a town in Minnesota whose mayor is like a dog.
Right.
Well, there's also a town in Minnesota that was founded by a horse.
That's true. Dan Patch.
Dan Patch. No, it's just a town like festival thing. Mm-hmm. It's a little fair, and there's they haven't done it in 2 years though, so everybody's real hot on celebrating Dan Patch.
Oh
Dan
man,
Patch days.
they've been waiting.
I think it's the horse, sort of like Little Sebastian from Parks and Rec. If anybody watches that show, it's a miniature pony who unfortunately dies at season 8 or 9, I think.
Wow.
And so, anyway, super big. Like, it's a small town here. It's about 40,000, same size as Midland, but without the Dow money, that Dow cash. Is his
that is true.
Charles Dow? What's his name?
Well, there's Alden B. or Alden.
I think
He's the son.
Herbert
But Herbert
Dow
is
was
the dad,
Herbert.
isn't it?
Herbert D.
And-
Dow.
Grace is the mom.
Grace is
'Cause
right.
it's the Grace Dow Library.
Yeah,
Yep.
Herbert. Whatever. It doesn't
Anyway.
Dow.
Anyway, they put on a
Trivia.
heck of a. I never would have suspected that we would have such a awesome like town festival. Makes it sound like we're jumping around a maypole, but they had like
All out on the village green.
right like 30 like blow up slides and that sort of thing, and there was food and live music and all this crazy tents and stuff. It was just real. I was just pleasantly surprised to go like to hey, this is actually really cool. And
Not to mention, it's been forever since anybody anywhere has been able to go to stuff like that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like here's Grace Johnson's knitting booth and you can buy pre-knit sweater. It was just it felt more mature than that, I guess, or more
That's good.
commercially approachable. Which boy, that's a weird phrase, but
Well, I know what you mean, though. Like, especially
Yeah.
like you were saying, there wasn't a spring, and then there's just summer, and so I felt
Yeah.
like we were like hiding inside, and now all of a sudden it's
yes,
July, and it's like, how did we get here? Emily and I went out to dinner the other day, and downtown in Midland, walked around the corner, and it's like the last time I was down there, it was like ugly, dirty spring, and now it's like the whole downtown Main Street gets shut down. There's like
right.
hundreds of people there and live music, and there's like a distillery brewery place that has just like the whole front of their store open with just like a bar there. Then they sell things in plastic cups and like
Right.
I was like, what the heck's
I know.
going on?
All of a sudden, I was like, "Oh
Cool.
wow, there's like people alive in town." It's not,
Right.
yeah,
right.
it's that same thing. We were like, "Oh, this is much better than I thought."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a pleasant experience, and I think the weather that day. Fortunately, the weather was like, 78, lots of clouds coming through, breezy, no humidity. We were there for
That's
a
nice.
very long time. It was really cool.
Did they have like a Dan Patch horse there or anything?
Well, no, because Dan Patch,
The Dan Patch?
human
Well, you know
or
what I mean.
Dan Patch, died like 100 years ago, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know if they had like
And we didn't.
know.
Well, we didn't stay late
Dan
enough
Patch
for his
Jr.
ghost to ride through.
Dan Patch Jr.
You have to wait till the night when Dan Patch rises.
Right. And it gets a little weird. It gets a little weirder once the sun goes down
When
and the hoods go up and the candles come out and the chants start.
when the
and
seance
that's-
happens for Dan
Right,
Patch.
exactly.
When my dad lived in Northfield, Minnesota, which is south Twin Cities. Anyway, that was the first place that Jesse James robbed a bank, was Northfield.
Oh, no way.
And so they would have Jesse James days, which was like a week of like,
Bank
They
robbing?
just put the money out on the
Pretty
bank counter. Yeah, you
but
just take it.
they would have a thing where they reenact it. So someone's like
Oh,
Jesse
man.
James, there's guys on horses. They have like a fake window that breaks and they would like smash the window and like everyone's like, woo! Even though it's like Jesse James was like not a nice guy. Like he like killed people and shit. But Jesse James
Yeah, but
days.
he killed our people first.
But it would be like the horse jumping in the building and
What?
stuff. Like, it was
That's
crazy.
weird.
Jesse James days. It was just people
Yeah,
on horses
bizarre.
causing chaos
Yeah.
around town.
Well, what did we see? That classic blow up slide, the Titanic, where I assume thousands of people died, if not, probably hundreds,
It's like
maybe 1,000.
half of a Titanic
It's-
blown
it's
up at
just
an angle.
into the ground, and you climb to
into
the top
the
and
ocean.
slide down. Right,
What the F?
beautiful.
Why?
Be called the Poseidon, and only 5 people
Yeah.
get to come out.
Right, exactly. Oh man. Well, you know what? Let's talk about some stuff we've been playing. It was kind of funny this last weekend. We talk a lot about hanging out with the Gamecasters. We don't really live by them. We're like kind of hour and a half, 2 hours apart. So it takes a lot of planning to get together, and we got all these kids and stuff, and so it's sort of a big deal.
Get all these kids.
Well,
Got
you know
all
what I
these
mean.
kids
Like
to
it'd be the
get rid
same.
of.
Like if like we're
Yeah.
trying to visit anybody,
Yeah,
right?
I
So.
know.
When are you
production.
guys free? When are you free? When are all the kids there? This and that. And so Emily was trying to plan a visit with them or whatever. And then I said, why don't we just have a game day? And they were like, okay. And so they just came up on Sunday and we played
Nice.
games. And I was like, man, this is so great.
It was very
Yeah.
last minute. We decided that on like Saturday morning or something.
Wow.
Like, it was very like, does tomorrow work? Sure. And so worked out
Cool.
nice.
so Ryan bought a bunch of games he's hot to play. He couldn't resist.
Hot to touch?
And I wasn't
Is that
about
what
to,
you're
I don't know what I was going to say.
Hot to trot, I think is what you tried
Right?
to say.
I was about to say hot to trot, but then I wasn't quite sure what that means, so then I didn't want to say
I don't
it.
know what that means either. Yeah,
You're like panicking.
take it easy, big dog.
Okay, so
Easy.
he brought a big old bag of games, and the first game he pulled out was in a gigantic box. It was a Kickstarter monstrosity, you could describe it as, right?
Okay,
It's the kind
yep.
of thing that would never exist on a retail shelf. It just couldn't.
It would be like so
And there,
much money.
there is a version of this game. The game I'm going to talk about is Wonderland's War. A game I almost backed on Kickstarter because I think it was up from Jewett City Games on Kickstarter. I got a copy of Grim Forest from a friend, and we liked that so much. We're so impressed by the production of that game, and the game was fun. I immediately backed Tidal Blades when that was on Kickstarter.
Which is
know
also
that
really
name.
great quality.
Yeah.
Tidal Blades is an amazing production. It's sort of an event. It's like
We should play that on Friday.
we could totally play Tidal Blades.
Sorry. I'm like, I just
Good
realized.
idea. And so when I saw Wonderland's War, I was like, oh, another game from them. I should back it. And I was like, Alice in Wonderland. Like, I don't care
Okay.
about that.
Yeah,
Right now, where I'm going to throw out, and I feel like some people are going to hate me for this, but as soon as I have nothing against Disney, I have nothing against like kids. I see kids' movies all the times, right? Like, I'm all
Sure,
for it.
yeah.
But I'm not, when all of a sudden someone's like, it's Disney themed, I want to be like, ugh, I'm good. I'm sorry. It's not something that I'm like intrigued by.
Yeah,
if
I
it's like
get
Alice
that.
in Wonderland, I'm like, I don't care. I don't need like a kid's theme
Yeah.
essentially. So as soon as it was like, it's Alice in Wonderland, I'm like, no thanks.
I feel like
Pass.
Alice in Wonderland in particular has been done to death poorly
Yeah, right?
most of the time, right?
So yeah, it's
Particularly in the
not something I'm
movie
like,
sphere.
Yeah, I'm not like
There's some good
intrigued
video
by
games
that.
out there,
So
but, Anyway,
Well, and
I didn't
we played
put that
Tidal
together
Blades.
that Wonderland's
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
put together that Wonderland's War is Alice in Wonderland. Okay.
It is. So
Yeah.
it's set in the Alice in Wonderland universe, we'll call it.
Sure.
There's the Queen and the Cheshire Cat and the Mad Hatter and Alice and
whatever the
some sort
dragon
of
guy
monster
is.
poison guy. I don't know. I don't know the characters from that.
Nobody
Doesn't matter.
cares. Johnny
Exactly.
But okay,
Depp, bad
so
makeup.
Right.
Yeah.
what it like this game, it's got this board with multiple areas on it and then sort of like a tea party in the center. So but the
It's like
areas
the
are
table,
like
the table in like Tea
Okay.
Party.
yeah.
Okay.
There's like areas of Wonderland around the outside and in the middle is a tea party.
I like
And
that.
this is a bag building Like
Okay.
Like push your
Push your luck
push
game.
your like war, essentially.
Like a Quacks of Quedlinburg is a good thing to compare it to. You're going to be drawing chips from a bag until you either stop or bust. Right?
Okay.
That's sort of
Yeah.
like the central mechanism of the game.
Which is like, I like that.
But the way you score points is there's going to be 3 rounds, and at the end of each of these rounds, you're going to battle over the different areas of Wonderland. And the battle is going to be you pulling chips from your bag. And the chips have numbers on them, but they're also like different art. And so the different kinds of chips have different abilities. Again, think of something like Quacks of Quedlinburg, where it's like, this chip has this ability, and there's cards out on the table that say what each of the chips do. And then there's like 4 versions of every card. So you can have it be different every game or whatever.
Okay.
But the chips have numbers. So the number you pull out is sort of like your power in the battle. And as you pull chips, your strength goes up. And but you also have madness tokens in your bag. And those are pulling your troops off the area. Because during the Tea Party phase, you were putting troops out in the different areas. So your troops there isn't your strength. It's how many times you can pull these bad tokens before you bust.
Huh. Okay.
So if you really want to win an area, you put a lot of guys there because you'll be able to draw from your bag longer.
Yeah.
And then you sort of like pull a chip, and then everybody reveals their chip, and then you have the new strength, and you go again, and then if you want to stop, you just reveal nothing, and you're essentially done. And then winning an area gives you points. And so there's different points over the different rounds.
I mean, there's other things like cards, win this area with this token or whatever. There's obviously like more pieces to the game, but that's the main.
Yeah, that's sort of the
Gotcha.
central mechanism. Each round, though, begins with this sort of Tea Party phase where there's essentially like a market, and you go around the table grabbing a card. The cards will give you things like chips into your bag. They'll also give you things like upgrade your leader to be more powerful, because your leader you can put into a region and will add strength. Unlock some of your leader abilities, or forge chips onto your board, unlocking other special powers. Or there's like these Wonderland cards, which are like either special minis that have a special power, or special kind of chips that only you get to buy and nobody else does that come with a special power. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. You have this board you're fighting over, but then you have this whole Tea Party phase where you're going to like essentially like build out your faction, both by building your bag or upgrading your leader or giving yourself a special power or acquiring more quests, which are other ways to score points. So
It's really fun. It doesn't have to be. I mean, it is like the theme of Alice in Wonderland. It definitely doesn't have to be. It could be any theme.
Yeah.
It is fun the way they do it. It's not
Like
like,
the
oh, you
Tea
have to
Party
know the
setup.
movie or it's fun. I just like when I always see the theme, I think it's gonna be like played into that more, and it really wasn't.
Nice.
I just felt like there's no way, looking at the Kickstarter page back in the day when it was on Kickstarter, looking at, like, for example, seeing a picture of the game or whatever now, like, none of the pictures I've ever seen do this thing justice of, like, how well the sort of, like, the Tea Party phase of building both your bag or your faction or gaining new powers or whatever, and trying to, like, because the cards you pick during the Tea Party phase allow you to place troops on the board. So how are you going to be set up for the battle phase? And how are you building your bag for the battle phase? But then when you're battling, it's just, I pull a chip or I stop. Like,
Yeah.
It's very simple.
There's like, you've prepared for the battle, and then you see what happens. You don't like,
cool.
you don't like, you don't like have to like run the battle. You're not like rolling dice and making tactical decisions and like doing this or that. It's almost like you spend all this time setting up, and then, okay, let's see what happens. Now you do make some decisions there because it is push your luck in that part.
Sure.
But I mean, for the most part,
That's cool.
there was a time where you were like way up, and we're like, no way, Ben can, and then you picked one where you busted, and you were like,
Oh, man.
I would have
you were
won the game
so
otherwise.
Close, and so
Nice.
there are ones like that, but it was
was
really
so
fun.
mad.
But I wouldn't, if you didn't have 3 or 4 players, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it would
wasn't
be
actually
fun
in.
with. It definitely. I don't think would be fun with 2. 3 is even like. I don't know, because it's this weird like. I feel like you need 4.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
This game
Yeah.
would be
What's
fun
the
at 4 and
playtime?
5. Long.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's long because I guess
We were learning it though too.
you could probably make it fast somehow, but you'd have to be trying to make it fast on purpose.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's so much. There's the big board. There's all the cards for what the chips do and all the different chips. And then there's the Wonderland cards for like what are the special chips and special cards that are out right now. And there's
Yeah.
a whole thing of like going around the tea party table and trying to decide what you're going to do. And then like doing the battle in each of the 5 areas. You have to go through draw a chip, reveal, draw a chip, reveal.
But it didn't seem like it wasn't like boring if you weren't playing in one of the battles. It didn't seem like it like took too long for your turn kind of thing where you're waiting. Like there's some games where you're like, this is boring and I forget what I'm doing. Like it was pretty, I don't know. It's intriguing the whole time, so you're kind of watching too. And you can bet if you're not in the battle, you can bet on who's going to win to get like a little bonus for yourself. So you are like watching the whole time and kind of like
That's
hoping
cool.
someone will get it.
I lost every wager I made.
I think I did too. Every single time. But it's fun, so.
Cool.
It was long, but it didn't overstay its welcome. Like I loved how long it was. This is the first game I've played in a very long time where I said I want more of this. I want to play this again. I want to have this or something. I want to be able to play this. You can find the retail copy. Skybound even sells it it's $65 for the retail copy, and I'm sure the retail copy is great. It's cardboard standees for all the people, and then all the chips are cardboard punch outs. Of course, Ryan had the fancy Kickstarter version where it was miniatures for everything, and I could take or leave miniatures because I don't mind standees because they're painted art, colored art.
Sure. Yeah.
I like painted minis. Plastic minis is kind of like,
Yeah.
great plastic. What I'd
And I don't
almost
want to
rather
paint
see a standee.
Alice in Wonderland stuff, right?
The minis
interest
were
me.
really cool. They were.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, but here's the big thing was the chips. So he had a whole separate box that was all these like, they were almost like poker chips.
Yeah, they were like that.
They weren't like plastic tokens. They were like poker chips.
No, they were like
almost.
poker chips, but then the way the picture was like inlaid on top of it, so it was, I don't know, they were really nice.
It was like the kind of thing where it was like, well, now that I've played it this way, I only want to play it this way. you can't. It doesn't exist. You can't unless you want to go spend $400 on eBay.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
So if anybody out there who listens to this podcast kickstarted Wonderland's War and is like, you know what, I don't like that game, contact me, please. I will purchase it from you. I really want this game.
You do really
Nice.
want it,
It was awesome. I was so happy that he was like, let's play this. I'm really into this. Let's get to we should have just played it again. Not that the other stuff we played was fun too, but I really enjoyed Wonderland's War. What else did we play, Em?
We played Picture Perfect. We played Decorum. Is that what it is? Decorum. Didn't we play one other game with them?
Nope.
Okay. But then on our own, we played Planted.
Well, hold on now. What'd you think of Picture Perfect? A game we've had for a little while, been hanging around.
I thought it was fun. We only played once, though. It was pretty quick and, like, light and kind of like a party game fun, if that makes sense.
I like the gimmick of this game. So the theme is that you're a photographer at some event and you're trying to take a picture. And what everybody wants, like, I want to stand by the table or on the right of the table or in the front or in the back or next to this person or not by this person. Or I want you to not be able to see this person. There's all these, like, wants. And these are secretly put in envelopes for each person. And then you only see a couple envelopes at a time, and there's multiple rounds that go by where you're passing the envelopes around trying to figure out what everybody wants. And then the gimmick at the end is you actually, so it's like a cardboard table with a bunch of standees, and then you take a picture at the end with your cell phone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so then you pull all the cards out of all the envelopes, to see what each person wanted.
Yeah.
And then you check your photo that you actually took to see if you met their requirements. Fun. Yeah, it was cool. You know, kind of gimmicky, kind of goofy.
Yeah,
you know,
simple,
it's not the kind of thing.
You know, yeah.
Right? It's never going to like tent pole a game night even, right? You're not going to invite your gamer friends over to play Picture Perfect. But if you have some non-gamer people over at some time and you're like, you guys want to goof
something
around
weird,
on something
a little different? Yeah.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing
cool.
where anybody could play it because people like figuring out. People know Clue.
Sure. It's a puzzle.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, they want to figure out what's going on. So I thought it was fun. You know, I don't want to say that it's more than it is. It's not like the greatest thing ever, but we had a good time.
Yeah. Nice. Cool.
Now, the other game Emily mentioned was Decorum. This is another deduction game, but
have we talked about this before?
Maybe
I think we have.
We had never played it before, but maybe it's come up because we've been certainly eyeing it up for a while. Yeah. It is a cooperative deduction game. And so you have a 4-room house down on the table. That's the board. And the house has 3 spots for like a painting, a lamp and
like some sort of art or whatever.
Yeah, and then it has a wall color. And everyone gets a rule that says like one room in the house has to have all the items be blue. And the kitchen has to be red. And if there's ever a yellow item, it has to be in a green room.
Oof, or just random stuff. It'll be like rooms that are diagonal. The paint color in one room has to match the lamp in the other room. Or
man, okay,
right. Or like I had one that was every room has to have one empty space. The empty spaces have to all be on top of each other. So like the empty space in the bottom room has to be the same empty space in the top room. But the thing is, so everybody gets cards. It's pre-designed, the scenario, right? It can work out. Like there's a 4-player scenario. It's been designed. There is a solution. You just get 3 of the whatever 12 rules handed to you, and so everybody's like moving stuff around. You can move one thing on your turn, and then everybody else goes, "No, I don't like that. It doesn't work for me." Or you go, "Oh, that's great. I love that."
Yeah, you can either replace an item, you can just take off, or just put on an item. So it's not like if you need to change a color that matches something, you can't be like, well, I'm going to do this and this. That'd be too easy.
Right.
So you might remove the color, but then all of a sudden someone adds in something else, and you're like, well, F, you are ruining my whole thing. But then after so many rounds, you can share one of your rules with someone else. So then they can see it and be like, oh, I understand why you keep painting the bathroom blue or whatever.
Right.
But you still don't know everyone's rule. So then you guys try again. And then after so much time, you can exchange with someone, and do that again.
I like that.
But you're trying to all work together. And everybody keeps saying the 2-player version is really good, the way it works. We obviously can do that. But I really want to try that one.
Well, we played the 4-player version where there's a couple of like scenarios you can pick from, but the 2-player has a multi-mission it's like a 16-mission campaign. I think where it increases in complexity over the course of the campaign or something like that. And I've heard it's great. So
nice.
We've wanted this for a while, like tangentially. Now we've actually played it, and now I really want it. Not as much as Wonderland's War, but I still want that.
Yeah, but this one we could actually
one is
play
obtainable
together.
And the other is not.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
I think at Gen Con we'll try and grab this one.
What up?
What up?
We also played, one time we played a new game from Phil Walker Harding called Planted that Emily picked up from Target, actually.
Ken, you guys would like this one.
Yeah?
So it's the same guy who did Summer Camp.
Okay.
And it kind of works the same way as you are just passing cards like Sushi Go. You pick one, you pass, and the cards are just helping you collect either tools or decorations or grabbing resources. And you're just using them to grow your plants. And every time you grow a plant and do the resources, you get points. Super easy, super simple. really
Cool.
relaxing. The art is beautiful. Like the quality
Nice.
is fantastic considering
Ooh.
you can pick it up at Target.
Right. Off the big box shelf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we actually played with Calvin, who beat us. We did not help him, and he straight up beat us.
Nice.
But I don't know. I thought it was like a fun, quick, easy. If you are starting to play games, you're trying to find like a good game to get someone into board games. I think this one is great because it's like so pretty, and the resources are like these cool little raindrops and little suns, and like they're just everything is like really well done.
Nice.
I will comparing it to Sushi Go, right? Another Phil Walker Harding drafting game. I think is the most direct competitor to this game. This is slightly more expensive, but well, the gameplay is very similar, right? Pick a card and pass. Pick a card and pass.
Yeah.
So, in Sushi Go, the big difference is it's the advantages of Sushi Go is it's much quicker. You're just trying to build sets of certain things, and maybe you're working on these kind of sets. And you get your cards, I know what to do, I'll do this. I think the advantage of Planted is there's definitely some more thought you can put into it.
You can.
Because you can discard the card you choose to get a new plant.
Yeah.
Because every plant you have requires certain resources. So typically, but the problem here is, and this is what I've thought anyway, is that every card you get is a card you want. It's not like Sushi Go where you're like, well, I'm not working on dumplings.
Right,
I'll just pass that on. I don't want that. You get cards and you're like, well, this tool would help me. And this point scoring, this decoration is like end game points. This decoration would score me points. And these resource cards, I could use all of these. My plants need
I could
these.
use 2 waters.
But the thing is you have to at some point dump a card to get more plants to stay competitive in the game. So it's really sort of tough when you're like, you have to make hard decisions. And I think that's what is in Planted's favor, for sure.
I'm gonna look for it. This is my mid.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mid podcast purchase. As is
Hey, we always have to
tradition.
convince you to buy something.
All right.
Now, before we continue, have you played any board games, Ken?
Yeah.
Since we talked.
Speaking of mid podcast purchase, we got Stella. Played it.
Ooh.
Really like it. A lot of fun.
Nice.
Kids it took a couple plays for them to get on board and to understand it. Pretty cool. Beautiful.
Did they
obviously.
get it though?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the 4-year-old, well, she'll be 5. She didn't get it, but I don't think she cares. It's not because she couldn't get it. She didn't care.
Yeah. It's also a game though that like if she wants to participate, sure. If she doesn't, not a
Okay.
big deal. You can even just like mark whatever if you want to like pretend, or you can. Yeah,
Right.
it's like not a.
Yeah.
Well, she's
You know.
probably right at the age where the spatial jump of or you have to orient your marker board depending on where you're sitting at the table to match the table.
And that's why I like that
that's a
game for
little-
that. It's like, okay, like the other two get it, right? I'm just going to play my board upside down, right? Or whatever. She'll get there, but it's super cool. I wanted to play it. We did 4th of July with some my wife's family, and I wanted to bring it because they like code names a lot. They play code names a lot. I'll bring it next time. But we also did Monstrosity. Finally got a copy. Thank you, Emily, for posting that on Instagram that it's at Target.
Well,
it took me.
Someone else messaged me and they were like, "It's at Target," and so I was like,
Nice.
"Oh my god, I need to tell everyone."
I wandered around forever, couldn't find it. Purchased
the
it
end cap?
online for pickup, and
Oh,
just came back
okay.
2 hours later. I honestly think it was in the back, the mysterious the back. Played it a lot. The kids love it. It's it's more popular than Stella just because it's simpler, right?
Yeah, it's like fun to draw and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. There's not a lot to it. Some of the art, I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed by, because there's like 300 cards in there.
Yeah, some of it though, I understand.
Some of the monsters are like, here's a bunch of random items assembled together.
Well,
And
we got the robot, what's it called? Expansion?
Yeah.
I was going to say upgrade. The robot one is almost like difficult, where the kids would be
really?
like, this is too hard to explain. So I know there's a cute expansion, which I would like to get.
yeah, I want to get that.
But the robot one is kind of so insane that you're like, there's like 2 tweezers coming out and they're like trying to describe it. And then we look at the card and we're like, whoa, that's like intense. Like it's like a
Yeah.
lot on it. So
I like
yeah.
as much as I complain about the ones that are basically it's a bunch of objects connected to a amorphous body, the kids are able to relay that very easily, right? It's an animal with apples for feet and a bee's head, and it's biting a soccer ball.
Oh, that's my favorite thing about the game is forcing a young kid to try to explain what something looks like.
Right.
To you. It's
On the
just
other
hilarious.
hand, some of the in my opinion, some of the much more interesting cards are like again, more organic looking creatures where it's like, okay, it's kind of like a fish, but it has scales or it has plates like a lobster and its tongue has 9 eyes on it. And it's just a little more natural looking for it being a monster. It's not just objects, but my kids don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So
they're still drawing the scales. They're still, and I don't know what you said now. What did you say? And they're like getting mad.
Right. So I need to go through it and make like, okay, these are probably more kid friendly cards versus like, these are like, some of them look like legit, like Star Wars concept art. Like they're really well done, thought out. Like this is a subterranean creature. Here, the features make sense, right, for where it lives and that sort of thing. So, it's a cool game. Yeah, I want the cute pack.
Awesome.
I think we do well with the cute pack.
Yeah, I want the cute one. I should check out our Game Store, but
well. I do want to touch on, you were talking about games we've talked about before, and I did actually pull out Merchants of the Dark Road with my Monday night group. And I've talked about that game on here before as, like, it's been fun when me and Emily pull it out. It's sort of like a longer pick up and deliver game, but there's not a lot of, like, strategy to it because everything's so random and wild. And we played a 4-player game, and it just gets even crazier and more random. And some of the negative reviews I've heard of this game sort of like came to life at the 4-player, where the guys I was playing it with, they were just like, I don't know, like I can pick this up, but I don't know what it's going to be worth by the time I get there. And
I think that's part of it. It's like it's the random, but I do understand that some people don't like that. It's like almost too random when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think you have to set your expectations right with that game, and it's almost like it doesn't the gameplay doesn't live up to its components and its art.
Well, yeah, I think we have like the really nice little pieces and this and that, and the art's really cool, but there isn't really much to it in some ways.
Yeah,
which I'm fine with at 2 players because you're just trying to beat each other. But yeah, if you're doing 4 players, that's a long game to do, and then it's kind of like,
right
at the end.
It's a game, like, I'm happy to have it. I'd play it anytime you wanted. Don't think I'd ever pull it out for, like, 4-player game night. But that's because 4-player game night happens so infrequently. I feel like it's not the place to sort of, like,
test it out.
Yeah, to sort of, like, play an okay game. Like, we should have pulled out something we knew was good. We should have played Arc Nova. Right? We should have played Coimbra. Or whatever. Coimbra. Which is another new game that we played recently. Yes, that's right. I picked up Coimbra.
Wild.
I went wild and picked up a game. This game, how would you describe this game? It was great. We need to play it again. I don't want to say too much about it yet. Mainly because we played it. It was a ton of fun. It's not too long of a game. It's sort of like dice drafting and placement. You're buying cards, but it's like kind of a little bit more complicated than that. There's like a map you're moving around on.
And think forever with this game. I didn't. We also played once, so I didn't know what I was doing. So I just kind of like picked a space and went for it. But essentially, you pick dice, and depending on your dice, it's the order of when you can go and what you can choose and this and that. I really liked it, but you cannot think too much with this game. And I only say that because it would take forever. Because you could sit there and be like, well, this will give me 7 points. Well, this will give me 12 points. Well, if I go... I don't want to play with that. That's not fun. So it was more of like, I'm going to go here, and we'll try this out.
Right. I think we'll talk about that game more in the future. I need to play it more than just the one time to even be able to talk about it with any sort of, like, anything that makes sense. But our one play was great. It's perfect for 2 players, and it's perfect for weeknight game night because it's not too long.
Yeah.
So we'll get that one to the table for sure. And the only other game we wanted to maybe talk about, Marvel Dice Throne showed up
Yeah,
in
Ken,
its
did
big
you get
fancy
this?
box.
I haven't gotten it yet. Is my mic
What?
on?
Yes.
It is. All right. No, they. I saw
what the
that you
heck?
had it.
I
don't
see
know.
it's right there. I'm looking at it.
I know.
Well,
I don't know what to say. Jealous. I don't know if this will ever get played at my house, but as I've said before, my game collection is a true collection in the sense that no one touches it and no one's allowed
It's
to
in a
touch
glass
it.
case.
You're not a- yeah, it's like the
It's
little,
for collecting dust. That's all.
Yeah.
I can't comment on the Marvel yet. I played one time with it just to get it played, just to get it out and get one
Sure.
time played.
Yeah.
I said, Calvin, who do you want to be? He said, Doctor Strange. And I picked
Whoa.
Thor because I wanted to be Thor. And I pulled Doctor Strange out of the box, and he's sort of complicated in that he has this whole mechanism where you have to draw spell cards, and then you have to prepare them, and then you have to trigger them certain ways and play them. And I was like, nope.
Yeah.
And so I switched, and I said, I'm going to be Doctor Strange, and you be Thor. And then we brought Elsa over to read the cards to Calvin, because Calvin is just learning how to read. He's only starting.
Sure.
Dice Throne is, unlike, Stella, Monstrosity, even Planted, Dice Throne is just a little too much of a step up.
Yep. Yep.
It would even be a struggle for Elsa, I think, to be
It's just a
managing,
lot of reading.
reading
Yeah.
her cards, knowing when to play cards, triggering her abilities. It's funny because for like a 2-player battle game, it's very intuitive, very straightforward, and very simple. But it's not. It's still a 2-player battle game, right? It's a step down
Right.
from Magic. That doesn't mean it's
No.
kid level. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
it's
right.
it's like you can play this as a 10-year-old. You're not going to play it with a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
No.
And they had fun, but I just sort of like crushed them. Like not in a sort of a mean way, but it was just like,
Yeah.
they're just rolling dice to hit one of the abilities, but they're not
Sure.
playing the cards or anything.
Yeah.
So to comment on I thought so far from those two anyway, the characters seemed cool.
Okay.
You
I
know,
mean, like the art looks really cool.
I trust
Thor
the game
came
is
with
good,
like
right?
a little
Doesn't matter. Little
metal
hammer.
hammer. Yeah.
Nice.
yeah,
cool.
he did have a metal Mjolnir that he kept throwing at me.
Yeah.
It's one I'm glad I'll be glad I kickstarted it 5 years from now, right? It'll be one. Hey, I got the good one. Here's the cool set.
Right.
Yeah.
But it'll sit on my shelf for a while for sure.
Well, it was fun, and I'm looking forward to playing it more. So we kind of shot through all those board games there really quick. I would have loved to sit and talk more about Coimbra. I want to play that
We'll
more.
have to play it again
I
first.
really enjoyed Wonderland's War. I really want to go find a copy of Decorum. I mean, we had some we hit some good games, and also Picture. Whoop! Dropped my pen.
What the
Picture
heck?
Perfect, which was a huge a gamble in my book of like, is this too gimmicky? Is this going to be fun? It was.
Well, it's a really good party game because it can play a ton of people, and it was really quick.
Right. I like
And it's
that.
fun. If you mess up, you mess
Whatever.
up, and it's just a fun
Yeah.
party game. It's a party game that's more than like the monikers kind
Mm-hmm.
of style, but it's essentially a party game, I think. So.
How long are we going to let this go?
I was waiting for Becca. He was like, hold on. I thought maybe it was going to be like, boom,
All right.
boom, like something.
Well, welcome back. That's right. You know what that sound means. It's time for some listener questions. Yes, my favorite part of the show, or at least it used to be.
How come SHs are
My favorite part of the show.
The show. This used to be my favorite part of the show until I'm looking at the first question here, and
panicking?
I don't want to answer it. I think we'll skip right by that
First
one.
question
I have a funny
is-
story.
Ooh, go for it.
I don't.
It's not me. My wife worked with a woman. Oh, here, read the question first, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was just
so
a
that
funny
people
story in
know.
general.
Hey, I thought of a funny thing. Let me just jabber on for 20
That's
minutes.
fine. The first question is from the Gamecasters. What is the biggest purchase you made that you didn't tell your spouse about until afterwards? Okay, Ken, what's the story?
Well, let me answer the question first. That's all my purchases. I don't ever tell my wife about anything.
But what's the biggest one? Was there one that, like, was all of a sudden like, WTF?
I think you wrote this in.
I did not. I also did not tell Ryan. This seems like something me and Ryan would do
let me
together.
start as an example.
No, I can see straight through this. You and Ryan were chatting when they visited, and you
I was
mentioned
like,
a purchase.
Ryan, guess
Ryan
what?
clung to it. He took it home, worked it into an Instagram question.
You know what? I will admit right now,
Kick Ben
Ryan
with a
would
gotcha.
do this for me if I
He
say,
would.
hey,
Yeah.
I got a bone to
There's
pick.
no ill will.
I
this
don't.
one he did all on his own.
Maybe he has something on his conscience and he doesn't want to reveal it.
When they were here, he was like, Natalie, could I buy a $1,500 grill? He was
You can't ask that question.
he was
Yeah,
trying.
you buy
No.
that and
You see what
explain
happened?
it later.
Look, I think the best thing, what I've learned is the best thing to do.
Uh-oh.
Well, first of all, is probably not to buy it. But the second best thing would be to say, I bought this.
There's no
Maybe I
second
shouldn't
best.
have.
You don't second best anything.
But the thing you should never do, speaking for a friend,
Peace be with you.
is
What are you
make
doing?
up some crazy story as to
Yeah.
why the
Duh.
stuff is there.
Duh.
Wow.
Oh, maybe they
surprise.
That's
Right.
not
An accident.
sustainable.
Especially
may
when
have-
there's an identical charge on the credit card or
When-
debit card for the.
When I was beginning my home gym, it's an expensive initial investment of
true.
a barbell and some plates.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they were there. And I made
They
up
were in
some.
the
Just
car.
say,
I
Ben
blacked
told me a
out.
different story,
I did.
and it was not that story.
It wasn't that story. I
Due to a
just bought
shipping
them.
error, we are very overstocked on
We're
barbells.
luckily in the possession of.
and plates. Yeah.
Luckily.
So, what is the biggest purchase I've ever made that I didn't tell my spouse about until afterwards? It would be
the entire time.
Rogue Ohio bar and
Like all the weights.
the weights. Yeah, not
Is the assumption here that we got in trouble?
Not
or no?
necessarily.
'Cause
it's
I
just
buy-
more like you did it and then didn't tell them until
I buy
afterwards.
insane things all the time. But my wife just does not care. So maybe that's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
That we don't.
Right?
Well,
Here
my-
we go. Red flag. No.
Yeah,
My
maybe-
wife,
no
who's
one
on
is
this
watching the
podcast
money
with
in
us.
our house.
she
just-
manages the money.
I'm the one who is checking the credit card, and I go.
She
"So
pays
you
the bills."
You spent 115 the other day on a
On
website
what?
called, and it's something where he's like, "Well, I needed speakers," and I go, "Did you need those speakers?" Like
Yes.
it's that.
Yes, I
scenario.
Can't
did.
slip anything past her. It's just like
Sorry.
Sherlock Holmes over here.
Oh, the Iron Bay.
The Iron Curtain. The Iron Bay.
I don't know. Can you think of something I have bought that?
No, you don't buy anything. The only stuff you've
That
ever
is
bought
true.
is stuff that I bought and said that you did. Every new camera you've ever got, every
is true.
couch.
I will wait
every-
until like
I don't
the
think
car
there's anything
doesn't
you-
have tires.
I mean,
and
there is
wish I
stuff
was
you
that
buy.
way. God.
There's stuff you buy you don't tell me about. That's clothes and shoes.
maybe like
but
some clothes and stuff, but it's nothing like nothing crazy. I will admit though, I did do the when you went to QuinCon,
yeah.
that is when I got the kittens. But once again, it was one of those things that like you knew I was like, man, Elsa wants like a kitten, and like it wasn't like what? It wasn't like surprise, but I was like, look what we did yesterday, and I woke you up when you were like drunk with 2 kittens.
That's true. But that was a pleasant surprise.
But once again, it was like we had kind of talked. Like it wasn't like what? I wasn't like look a goat, and it was just in the backyard or something. Like it wasn't. You know.
Never made a purchase that was like, what is this? I guess.
You've never made a purchase that was scrutinized in that way? I've never made a purchase that wasn't scrutinized.
We don't have.
All right.
I'm very. Okay.
I don't know. Oh, the story.
Oh, the story.
Oh, yeah. What's the story?
My wife worked with a woman who is apparently as sweet as can be. Never met her, but that's how my wife said it. Was engaged, whatever. The fiance bought a horse 3 days before their wedding day. That's it. That's the end of the story. That's all the information I have. And it was
What?
right. Talk about red flag.
Was it a wedding gift?
Yeah,
I don't
red
think
flag.
so.
If that's even before
Just
the
a
wedding,
horse.
it's like, well, I just made a purchase.
I just want a horse. I didn't talk to you about it. I just got a horse.
Well,
Do you
and
remember?
even more than the money, it's like, okay, where are you going to put
Yeah.
it?
Where's
How
it
you gonna
living?
care for it?
Exactly. We're both
Like,
like,
Where
do you have a barn? Like
now
where?
if we're house shopping, we now have to consider the horse also. Like that's way more than what you spent.
What's that horse's
like,
name? Dan Patch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
so
Dan Patch.
Where's now we have to get an extra room for DP, and I just don't like. I buy dumb stuff all the time, but I don't know.
Living
Never
the
anything
dream.
No,
What
because
was
I'm
that?
just
Living the dream.
money goes right through me. The problem is I manage the money, right? And so it just
Yeah, so there you go.
You're the only gatekeeper. That'd be terrible if I was the only
Right.
gatekeeper
Oh
around
God,
here.
you'd be like, well,
We
we're
wouldn't have
negative
anything
again,
left.
like every month.
exactly.
What was that horse near my dad's house they would always feed? That he was like
I don't know.
he used
Steamboat
to be
Larry.
he used to be like a
Steamboat.
racehorse.
Is that a Simpsons
What
reference?
was he?
I think it is. Steamboat
Scratchers.
Willie.
No, it was like not Starvin' Marvin. It was
Oh,
It
come on.
was. Yes, it was. It was Starvin' Marvin.
not.
That's what it was.
It was like lightning something or like
No, it was Starvin' Marvin.
Lightning McQueen.
It was.
It wasn't Starvin' Marvin.
Manly Stanley. It was something like that.
It was something that was like a fast nickname, but it rhymed like that.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know.
I don't
think
know.
about it.
We'll take a short break while Emily thinks about this.
I'm sorry. What is his name? What? Oh my god, that scared the
There's
crap
a
out of
child
me.
back there?
It was
Yeah.
103:30 around. She's been creeping over her shoulder for an eternity. One more episode of Stranger Things. You said it's 3 hours long, though?
It's over 2.5 hours.
That's
then
longer than a
it's-
movie.
It's
That's like-
fantastic, but I watched episode 8 and 9 together. I watched 4 hours of Stranger Things that night.
Yikes.
That's why I was up till 2.
We watched 8 last night. It was good.
What's
very
his
good.
name?
I don't know.
Don't give me this like eyes closed like you're.
All right, what's the next question?
Okay, the next one is from Board Games with Sal. And Board Games with Sal wants to know what's our favorite HP Harry Potter character. Ben, what's
Ooh.
yours?
What's my favorite Harry Potter character?
I know it's Ginny. You love her.
Ginny. I don't know. Like
Why are you
is it
angry? You're
is
like
it-
angry right
like,
now.
I kind of like
No.
I kind of like like
Name it. Like
I
you're
don't
not
know.
saying
I
anything.
I like Harry. He's been
Oh my
he's been like he's been like,
Yeah, I like Harry. I have
the-
nothing against Harry.
given
just
the sort of expectation, the weight of being a hero, and he has to deal with that, right? Like that's not easy.
yeah.
That's sort of his hero's journey is dealing with the fact that he's already expected to be a hero.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to live up to that. Right?
I'm
Good
just trying to
stuff.
think of that horse's name.
No, don't think about what your favorite what's your favorite Harry Potter
What's the
character?
Griffin's name in What's that one thing?
Fox? No, that's the Phoenix.
Is it named? Oh, it is named Fox. It's a really weird name.
Yeah.
My answer is Hermione because she was always the sensible one, and
That's true.
Ron and Harry were idiots,
Ron's
like through
an
and
idiot.
through. Yeah.
Let's be serious.
In the books, I feel like Harry was dumber. He was dumber in the main character sense. Like, let me walk down this dark hallway full of spiders, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
who in their right mind would ever do this? She always had. She gave the fair warning. The doofuses went off and did it anyway, but then she always came through in the clutch.
Yeah, she's the one who solved like every mystery.
She's
right?
right. She's the Samwise.
It was her. Yeah.
To his
True.
Frodo.
Yeah.
That's why I like her.
My problem is I
agree.
always wish I was the hero, but I know that I'm just Hermione from book 1. I'm just the annoying know-it-all.
That's kind of true.
That's true.
But
She
you're
starts
also-
off a little rough in the first book or two. Yeah.
You're also the Harry, though, where you're like, I'm the famous Harry. And everyone's like, shut up.
Right.
Like, God. Like, okay. I like Longbottom. Like, he's kind of the...
Oh gosh.
He's
He's
good.
he's the less effective
He
Samwise.
tried. He tried,
Right.
even though he has no power or status.
Right. He's a good everyman. He's a good.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. He puts forth
He
the
even stands
effort.
up to Harry a couple times to be like, hey, stop effing up
Yeah.
the school
That's
year.
true.
Like
You
know?
Harry is being a genuine dick on more than one occasion,
Oh, yeah.
and Neville takes the brunt of it.
That's
Yeah.
a very good answer.
I also
That is a
really
good
liked
answer.
that teacher in the third movie who was Harry was like drunk with at one time. You know what I'm talking about?
That he was
movie.
in the third movie
he's
is
not
that
drunk.
is that
He's essentially has like he just acts like he's drunk. What is the teacher? He's like the curious. What is
Wait,
his
what's
name?
what book is that? Which one?
You-
Is
are
it
you
the
talking-
first-
you're talking
no,
about
is it
the-
the fifth one? Sorry.
you're talking about way later. You're not
It's-
talking about the
sorry.
guy who's like the movie star or whatever, or the
No,
book star.
sorry, I
That-
think
Gilderoy
it's
Lockhart?
number 5.
Not that guy.
No.
Yeah.
No, I really do enjoy that character. As
He's
well.
You're
in
talking
the
about the-
movies. In the movie, Gilderoy is like really good.
He's good.
He's
yeah.
top-notch.
In the movies, he's perfect.
No, you're talking about the guy from like the 6th book who's always
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
who's like Dumbledore's old
Mad-Eye
friend.
Moody?
No,
No,
not Mad Eye Moody.
He's like a teacher.
he was
though.
retired and then he came back.
Oh,
and he's the
where he's,
guy
like,
who like
hiding in the
hosts the
chair?
dinners. Yes,
the guy-
yeah,
Yes.
the guy who's like
Okay.
the chair.
Yes. Yeah, but
What
I
is his
cannot think of
name?
his name.
Isn't that right, Harry? And he's like,
And he's
That guy?
He's sneaking
I love
in.
that guy.
He's sneaking on the plants one time, and Harry's like, "Professor!" And all of a sudden he like hits his head, and he's like, trying, like I
when he
enjoy
takes
that
the
guy.
luck
What is that guy's
potion.
name?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's when you're
He's,
talking
like,
about him.
drunk,
You're talking about
essentially.
Harry's like acting drunk when
yeah,
he takes
Harry,
the luck potion.
where the professor's like, "We can't do that," and he's like, he's acting.
He
drunk.
has to
Let's be
get the
serious.
memory
Yep.
from
Yep.
him about
Yeah.
Tom Riddle.
Okay, now we're just doing.
Man, we need to rewatch.
Sorry.
I need to rewatch those movies.
Harry Potter's fantastic.
That is top
Okay.
notch stuff.
Okay, the Minty Meeple was asking, what is our take on It Takes Two, which is a video game. Also a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie, but
I thought
I'm
this
assuming
was-
the video game.
What is your take on the phrase "It takes two"? I thought, wow.
Maybe it is. Okay, in the video game, which, first of all, I always hear people being like, I even saw something on Instagram the other day where someone's like, my husband's constantly playing video games, blah, blah, blah. And someone's like, you guys should play It Takes Two. It is
That'll bring you around.
fantastic. And all I thought was, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it is my take on it. So if you don't know, It Takes Two is about Cody and May, a married couple.
Did you write this part? Or did the person who
No.
wrote this wrote this?
No, it's a description of it that I found online.
Oh, okay. I
They-
thought this person said, what is your take on It Takes Two? And then they wrote this paragraph description of the game. And I was like, man, they must love this game.
Yeah, right.
writing
Prepare
it.
to defend your life.
I'm writing for people who don't know. The video game is Cody and May, a married couple, are planning on getting a divorce. After they're telling their daughter Rose the news, she takes her like handmade dolls, which are like stitched up in clay and like all, they're creepy looking. She takes them out and she like pretends that they're like repairing their relationship. They magically go into the dolls. They're trying to figure out how to work together to get back into their bodies. I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game.
And I never played it, so I got nothing.
It's not a good game.
It's okay. It's not bad at first because it's a thing of like, well, if you pull the lever, I'll hook onto the wall. It's the usual. What I hate about this game, first of all, it's about divorce. I find that weird in general. That's like a kid's video game. But the whole time they are arguing about the stupid shit around the house. In which case, I don't think they should ever get back together. They're arguing about who didn't clean the vacuum, who didn't put the tools away. Oh my gosh, this divorce is happening because you never cleaned the kitchen. The whole time they are bickering and they're annoying and I hate it. And there's like a love book. And the theme is the worst. I don't like it at all. And the mom's voice the whole time just goes, Cody, the whole time. I hate it.
Well, there's really two problems with the game. One is what you've pointed out, is that even if gameplay was
never have
fine,
gotten married.
I don't know what we never got to the end. Maybe they don't get back together. But
we were at the part where they wanted to make the daughter cry, so they were taking her favorite toy and trying to rip the batteries out to kill it.
I remember you
so that the
that.
daughter would cry and make them people again. What kind of effed up video game? I don't like
They're
this.
bad.
Well,
people.
so that's a good point though. So the story is off-putting and weird, and typically you would over the course of the game find reasons why these people were going to get divorced, and it's really just because they've been too stressed with life and they lost each other or whatever. But what I found over the course of playing the game was that they should get a divorce. These people shouldn't be together.
They'd be way better off apart.
Well, we should look up the end because maybe they do.
Yeah, maybe they do.
I think they get back together.
But the bigger problem that I had with it is that I didn't find the gameplay to be very fun. Like, I like cooperative games like Overcooked and Moving Out. And we were playing, what was that? Young Souls. And we've played Borderlands and Destiny and all kinds of. We've played video games that are co-op. This is like is a third-person like platformer kind of thing. It reminded me of like Toy Story, the video game from PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2.
It was like that.
It's like you're like Buzz Lightyear in a tree. It's just the gameplay was so old. There's no progression. There's no like puzzle solving really. Like you figure out the puzzle and then it takes you freaking 5 minutes to execute the solution.
That's the thing though. Like it could be interesting if it was more puzzly, but it would be whatever puzzle, you have to push this in and do this, whatever. But then it would be that 85 more times to do this level. And you're like, we get it at this point.
Of games we've played.
It's kind of just on repeat for the whole level then.
I'd rather play Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. I'd rather play Chariot. I'd rather play Trine. I'd rather play Borderlands. I'd rather play... Like, there's so many good co-op video games. There should be more. There aren't enough. But this game is not a good video game.
I think people like it because if you've never played a video game,
it's perfect. It'll pass the time.
But I just still found it's like
game.
you figure out one puzzle and you do that same thing 20 times. Like it just never.
You're not having to like execute anything.
It never ends. Where you're like, okay, we solved this.
I'd rather play Cuphead together. That'd probably be fun. That'd probably be too hard for some people.
Her yelling at Cody about the stupidest stuff. I can't take it anymore. They should just separate. It would be way easier. And the whole time they're in the doll format, their bodies are just like laying around the house. And the kid is just alone in the house. I find the whole thing weird. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom, wake up. And she's like on the couch asleep. And you're like,
finish the game and the police are there trying to resuscitate the bodies or something.
What the hell? I don't, it's weird. I don't like it.
That's funny.
Okay. The last one is from Game Night Fam. And they asked, how is Ken so nonchalantly awesome? That's the first part.
Pass.
Ken, do you have any answer for that?
Those secrets will never be
wrong to assume that I'm not trying my hardest at all times. Right?
And can we get a link to the electric bike that you've been teasing us with?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can post it, but it's on Amazon. It's
Yeah.
an Ankier 500-watt electric bike.
We'll have to. We'll do a
ANCHEUR.
post
All right,
about it.
we'll get the link
I'll
up.
find the link.
Make sure I'll have a new most expensive thing I bought without telling.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Talk about things you don't need to purchase. This bike right here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is all. There were some more, and if anyone does write in, thank you. I keep them like in a spreadsheet, so it's not like it's
so organized.
lost forever.
Yeah, nice.
But thank you.
Save your questions
Right
forever.
now, this is why I need the little sound thing. I trigger the pot into the pots banging and the and you're going.
I don't like this bit.
It's that time. What's cooking? All we want to know is what you've been up to, Ken. What's cooking in Ken's
You know what
kitchen?
would help? I think maybe we need music. Can you pull up a quick?
He can.
We need some Ken's kitchen music.
Yeah, hold on.
Maybe the rock music is going to
Having gone to Dan Pat, no, it's much more sexual. Is there one just called erotic jazz?
What about night driving? No, night driving.
Night driving? No, that's the Instagram question music.
Oh, that's weird. How about dance
Here,
pop?
this is perfect.
No.
If you're having gone to Dan Patch Days and Valley Fair now, when you go to an event with your children or without your children, bring a backpack, wear the appropriate shoes, bring water bottles. At the very least, avoid the easy complaints. Sunscreen, obviously, but I can't tell you how many times I'm paying $6 for a bottle of water for somebody to take a sip and spit it out.
I bought the other day, so we went to the store, we ran over to Old Navy, and it also was like, I'm so thirsty. And I was like, just grab a bottle of water here. It was $4 effing dollars.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm really trying to push all my family members, including my wife. You got to get those MF tennis shoes on. You can't be wearing flip-flops out here.
No, you got to go
Are
all
you kidding
out for
me?
that. No, yeah.
That thong is going to grind your inner toe to bits out here.
We're not wearing flip-flops to Valley Fair.
You're making me look like an idiot. Put some tennis shoes on. We're ready to march out here. That's
you
my thing.
essentially
That's
wear like workout clothes. You're gonna, it's
pretty
like
much.
you're doing a workout.
You're gonna sweat.
Yeah.
You're gonna. Other tips.
That's all we
got
needed.
one for you.
Now I'm prepared.
Having just come off of July 4th, keep your grill grates clean on the grill, the barbecue.
That's true.
Before you start it up, though, or after you've warmed it up a little bit, put some veggie oil in a bowl, paper towel, tongs. You have to season the grates, whether they're iron or stainless steel. You got to oil them. Now, I don't
just
think
like
a lot
you
of
would
people
with a
realize
cast iron pan.
Cast iron or a stainless steel pan, you got to season too. Yep, got to put oil on it. That's it.
There you go.
Good to know. All right, I'll put that one here.
Also,
thanks,
sometimes
Ken.
when you lay awake at night and you think about, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have any.
I have that.
There's no deep. Yeah. When you're just listening, when you're sitting there listening to your spouse snore, and no matter how many times you jab them, it only lasts about 10 seconons. They just roll over and start chainsawing logs again.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do.
Thanks for saving that. Thank you for stopping me.
I was hoping to keep going, but
I took the sheet off the TV. We booted it up for the first time in forever. Dusted it up.
Casper flew out and hey.
There are so many good shows that have been on this summer that it was about time we caught up.
Yep.
Now, I will say we still have one episode to go, but season 4 of Stranger Things has been quite the spectacle.
It's been good. I don't want to give away anything, so.
I think you can say it's a return to form from season 1, right?
It's kind of like, we're bringing back the oldies in a way.
2 and 3 didn't quite know where we were, didn't know where we wanted to be. Season 4 feels a lot at least to me, initially, I thought it was going to be the final season. It could be. It still could be. Having finished it.
It could be, but...
It could be. It might not be.
That's where, yeah.
I don't know.
To me, for whatever reason, it's almost like embraces that sort of 80s nostalgia even harder.
Yeah,
There's something about it that just makes me remember being a kid.
Well, you are an 80s kid.
It's also
You
more of a
realize
90s
you're an
kid.
You're an 80s kid.
Yeah, we're
You realize
90s
that?
kids. No, we're 90s kids.
When I was their age, I was in the 90s.
Yeah, but you are still technically.
You know, but it's sort of the
when
same.
you're their
Anytime
age,
before
but-
cell phones and internet's the same time.
Yeah,
That's true. That is very
That's what
true.
I mean. It's the same. Like, I remember the music. I remember, So I don't want to give away anything. I'm going to say that someone has a Grinch-like body. I'm going to say that right away.
Jim Carrey Grinch?
Yes.
Yep.
Which, as soon as that happened, it's kind of like when all of a sudden you, like, think of a monster in a goofy way, and you're like, well, that's not that bad.
Yep. Yep.
The worst of the season, for me, has been when people are in cold scenes, winter scenes, and they do not have gloves.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Or boots on. And if you've been in a real winter, because I know, like, if you're down south, you don't,
There's no frame of reference.
Yeah. If you touch snow with your bare hands, you might as well just cut them off. You're done. Like, you're done so.
It's the equivalent to putting your hand on the oven. Or the stove, excuse me.
Or just, like glass. Like, just pretend glass is down. If you just were like, let me just crawl around on glass. So when I see someone walking around without shoes or without gloves,
right.
or even in a coat and their hands are just hanging out, first of all, that's
Put your
never
hands
gonna
in your
happen.
goddamn
Your hands will be in your pocket. They're going to be up the sleeve. They're going to be something. If they're hanging out, you might as well cut them off. They're done. You don't have hands anymore. And I kept seeing that, and I just want to be like, no. It was like hurting me inside.
Yeah.
But that is just one of those things. If you go outside and you accidentally fall onto the snow with your hands, you're destroyed.
Cut them off.
Yeah.
The problem with this show is you can't really say anything about it. Like,
Well, that's why I just said snow. I didn't want to give any reference.
I'll
I don't want to say any more.
I think for me, it was a little slow in the beginning.
I didn't mind it.
No? Okay. First 4 episodes are slow. And there was also a weird split. So if you haven't watched it at all, now's the time to watch it because it's finally done. But
it's good.
First 4 episodes felt a little... I think I can say that I didn't understand where they were going with the bad guy. Mm-hmm. And my concern was that they weren't going anywhere. It was just going to be...
it was just like another... Yeah.
It's just a bad guy from the Upside Down. That's not the case at all. And I think they do a really, really good job of making season 4 make sense in the context of everything that has come before it.
Yeah.
It really...
It definitely ties in.
Really, like, aggressively tie it in. And I was surprised how well it worked. Because for me, initially, it was like, are we just doing Freddy Krueger? Is this guy just Freddy Krueger?
Are we just doing like another like random? Yeah. But yeah,
So,
it ties like everything, even past seasons and everything.
And you having not watched the last episode, for you guys, there's even more in store for like how it ties in.
Oh, boy.
Which is why I think if they stopped here, I'd be okay with that. But that's my...
it sort of wraps things up in a way
it doesn't
to be satisfying.
It doesn't. But this is Netflix. I'm pretty sure this is Netflix's biggest cash cow. So it will go on
I'm sure.
forever until we are dead. And but like
they'll have to stay teenagers.
No, they'll be like married, but then their kids will have like power,
The best shows on earth though have a drop dead date, right? And we watched Dexter back in the day, which was HBO. And the way that they contractually made Dexter was a season at a time. And it's best that way because they have to tie things off at the end to a certain degree. And if you sign somebody to like 10 seasons of something, well, congrats. You got 8 seasons of garbage and a strong first season and a tie off 10th season. So
Yeah.
I like that you got to put the screws to them. Make it interesting. You're not
like it,
guaranteed
though.
to make a new season. It's a good
I'm
season.
happy with it
Good
so
show.
far, so I can't complain.
It's been really great.
But I mean, somebody put on some goddamn gloves. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, and just as a courtesy warning, I told you, Ben, final episode's 2.5 hours long.
I'm
It's
happy
crazy.
with that, though.
It is very good. It's just very
Yeah,
long.
but just long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
It's just
prepared.
very,
We'll have
very
to start early.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I hate when sometimes you're like, it's just getting good, and it's like over with because it's like 1
That's
hour.
true.
And you're like,
Well, because I was worried they
you know?
did 7 episodes. They took 2 or 3 weeks, and then I found out it was only going to be 2 episodes, the second part.
Yeah.
But it's almost 4 hours. It's over
like the
4 hours of
same-
material. So really, it's maybe 4 episodes. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell are you going to do in 2 episodes? 2
Right,
hours of
it would,
time? That's
like,
not enough. But it's
be,
closer
like,
to
super
4.
quick.
Yeah.
2 hours. That's
Yeah.
a whole movie.
I know. But
Yeah, it is a movie.
I enjoy it so much. So I'm like, the longer, the better. So
Yeah.
Now, I did also watch Kenobi, Ken,
Yes.
which you had watched before.
Yes.
Another one. This one I think we could talk about more. It's not necessarily
Yeah.
you don't have to hide the story from everybody because you know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is, and you certainly
Right.
know where he ends up.
We sort of know where it ends, right? Or at least where it has to get to.
But I had no idea what this show was going to be about. And
Same.
I just assumed that it was going to be misadventures of Ben Kenobi in the interim between where Revenge of the Sith ended and A New Hope begins. I had no expectation for it to necessarily tie into the greater Star Wars story. I thought it was going to be sort of a
Okay.
Boba Fett, Mandalorian-esque sort of just like side story.
Okay.
Because I never expected anything. They rarely have like non-movie stuff like go hard into the movie territory.
Sure.
Right? They
this
never
could-
really meet any of the movie characters in shows.
This
typically.
could have been a movie, right?
Right.
This could have very easily been episode 3.5. That's what it is.
Right. Instead it was just like main storyline, baby. Like
This is it. This is
you
it.
know, we'll take
This is, yeah. It's
we'll
cool.
go
though.
right from where we left off in the last movie, and we'll go right up to where it'll make sense in the new movie, and you know, it'll all sort of hook together.
It's got that Rogue One feel where it's like, boy, we really connected into A New Hope, didn't we? Sort of.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and it just like it gives some context to something that originally never needed context. It was in the very first movie. Why is
Right.
Leia asking Obi-Wan Kenobi for help? And then they made up this whole story as to why that would be.
Honestly, I think I'm not going to say the best part of this show was that they did the Leia storyline, but thank goodness we didn't have to do Kid Luke. Like,
Yeah, I think I would have hated that for some
we've
reason.
had enough Luke. We don't need to destroy another child's life. Like a real life child's
Right.
life by casting young Luke. I mean, he's in here, but he's tangential at most. Like I love that they went with this little Leia storyline, and even though it's a little drawn out, I think like she gets captured multiple times and all this sort of stuff, it ultimately gets us to episodes 5 and 6, which are the real juicy bits, and boy did they stick the landing.
I really thought so. I enjoyed this so much. Now, I'm just going to say skip ahead like a minute and a half. I do want to.
Sure.
I just want a chance to just
gonna
ask
give
you some
away
stuff.
shit.
Sure.
All right, so spoiler warning. If you haven't seen this and intend to and want to know nothing about it, just jump ahead a little bit. Man, there's a couple of things. Like when Vader grabs that ship when it's trying to take off, and it just like stops in place. I mean, they made it look so aggressive, so like
right. It wasn't just he didn't slow it. He didn't. Slow
he wasn't
it
like,
down.
He comes around the corner, he sees it taking off, and he just boom.
Yeah.
And then he slams it into the ground and rips the whole side of the ship off. And you're just like, whoa.
Well, that's like what he's supposed to be. If you watch the old movies, you're like, is he goofing around? And it's like the final battle, and you're like, this is not...
is not a very good Star Wars movie. I'm going to come out and say it. It's not very good.
But this is like the Vader that, like, when you grew up, you kind of like made up.
This
in
is
your
the
head.
Vader you imagined.
This is the Vader.
All these lame nerds have this Vader in mind, myself included. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's just shredding it. Right. He's pawing at the ship. And then I liked even the Inquisitors. I thought the one lady was really good. I liked her arc, which was, it took a long, long time to get to what her resolution was, but we got there, and I thought it was cool that like, I don't know. I always like when there's some gray between Jedi and Sith or whatever, like, she was just a flawed character. There doesn't, she doesn't have to have a heroic moment or an evil moment. Maybe she just messed up. And, but then, I mean, spoilers continue. You get the lightsaber battle of a lifetime, right? I think I texted you. It's like, or I was texting another buddy. This is about as good as Star Wars is going to get.
Right.
I don't know what more you can. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's just, this is the best they're ever going to do.
In a way that you could sort of like pander to the fans of the series, right?
Right.
Show us the thing we always wanted.
The hardcore folks, right? Which are, by the way, not the people who sell tickets and not the people who keep this franchise alive. It's normal people, quite frankly. But I don't know. What if you think about Revenge of the Sith, the lightsaber battle? It's sort of this like 20-minute Cirque du Soleil thing. That's just like, what the hell even is it? Goes on way too long. It's cool.
There's some good scenes in that control room. It's really cool, and then there's some like, and then they start dancing around on robots and lava, and you're just like, what the fuck? It's like, this is just like two guys who are just like, who are super powerful, right?
Yeah.
And they're just actually fighting, all out. Like it's so aggressive and hardcore. It's like, wow. And you think about what they do up in the series up until then. Vader doesn't fight anybody else. He never has to until he fights Kenobi. Even when the third sister attacks him with her lightsaber, he just stops it. Right, he doesn't take out his lightsaber and like fight her. He just
takes hers.
Right,
he takes hers from her.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He doesn't. He just. But with Obi-Wan, like that's not an option, right? They're at equivalent power levels, so he actually has to fight him, and it's like so. It's just throwing rocks at each other and stuff, and dang, it's so cool.
It's cool.
I felt like a Star Wars kid, man.
They do and they've done it in the animated stuff. He cuts the part of his mask off, and props to whoever is on top of sound design or sound engineering or whatever. They mess with Vader's voice when the mask is cut part off.
Yeah, so it's like,
and it's in and out between James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was so cool. I just thought that was
good.
That was all I needed. That was juicy.
That's a good way to put it. If you're a Star Wars fan, Kenobi is cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
Cool.
Even if you're not a huge fan, it finally just brings you the Star Wars, like, you have kind of built up in your head since you were a
Yeah.
kid.
Right. This
I
is
just
the
don't
Star
know
Wars I pretended was real.
What do people want
Well,
though?
right.
Like if this is not it, I don't understand
This is
No,
what
I think
this is what they
yeah.
want. I want
What,
this.
okay, so now we've put this piece in place. Where do we go now? Do we need more? Like we have to
Redo all
start
the
doing new
movies.
stuff,
I
I don't know. You go to the Old Republic or something.
right?
I
High
don't know.
They,
But
Republic,
then
they
Old
messed
Republic.
up with all the movies, so now
Boy,
you're
they
like
blew
you're
that.
trapped.
Yeah.
You're kind of like stuck in
That's
this
a-
weird.
a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. Oh, you guys been watching anything else?
I've been watching somebody feed Phil, but it just makes me hungry all the time.
Somebody feed Phil.
Somebody.
Is that how
It's
the
essentially
song
just
goes?
a food.
Yeah, that's the intro
exactly how it
song.
goes. It says he'll like do anything for chicken
It's
and
by
rice. And stuff.
Lake Street Drive. I really like the intro
What?
song to that
It's
show.
really
Hold on.
good. So Somebody Feed Phil is just this guy who I'll admit just looks like a nerdy, goofy guy.
Okay.
But he is like the best. He just goes around the world and is like, hey, feed me your favorite food as we're in Montreal, whatever.
He's just so happy
And
to be
he's
there.
so excited for the food. And they're like, it's just every time you watch it though, you're like, I should make chicken tacos. Like right away,
Yeah.
you were like,
Yeah.
how do I get salmon? And you just want to eat everything. But it's really good because he's goofy and he's friendly and he's excited to try everything new. But it's not one of the, some shows are like getting almost like too crazy with food where I'm like, well, I don't
Sure,
want that.
yeah.
Like his is very like if you were a tourist in the area, like the
Oh.
best places to kind of eat. And it's a fun,
Makes sense.
happy show, which I turned on
Nice.
in the background the other day, but then I was like, I'm so hungry, so I had to turn it off. I couldn't take it. But it's a really good show. It's just on Netflix.
I gotta watch it. I'll watch it.
Anything else?
Well, Ken, you watched The Lost City, which I've heard is like a good, like, how would you describe it? I've just heard it's like a good movie, but
Yeah, it's a rom-com from
Okay.
think what our parents watched.
man, that's what
Not-
I enjoy though.
Not like the 2000s rom-coms where
No,
it's
those
like
are the
meet
worst.
cute and it's coffee shops and like this is like an adventure. Like they fall in love despite
worst.
hating each other initially,
There we
So
go.
it's done.
they're put in outrageous scenarios. Highly recommended. I think it's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
I
I think
think.
so.
The Lost City. It's Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum.
Whoa, our boy.
Our boy.
yeah, not friend of the show, Ryan Reynolds.
All
but Channing
grown up.
Tatum.
It's Ryan Reynolds.
Oh,
but-
you know what? It's funny you mentioned that. We roasted our boy Channing Tatum for his less than subpar hot bod in Magic Mike. If you had any doubts, boy brought his A game to this. For whatever reason, he decided to get absolutely insanely shredded
Fine.
for this
Okay.
movie.
For the
And
Lost
then-
Not
City.
for the stripper
Sandra
movie,
Bullock,
Right.
that's
but
why.
Well,
Right.
it was the same. Yeah,
I mean,
you gotta.
yeah, if you got the
Let's
chance,
be serious.
go
Yeah.
for it.
Sandra Bullock.
It's his
only
mess
shot.
around.
Harry Potter's in it. Daniel Radcliffe is the bad guy, and then
Whoa.
Brad Pitt makes a very entertaining cameo in the beginning.
Oh my God.
That's
Okay.
This
super
sounds
good
like
movie.
a lot of fun.
super
I've heard
funny.
It's like a good, like you said, like
It
a
just-
lighthearted,
just
just like a
Take
fun.
it for what it is. It's
Yeah.
not, this is not the beginning of a cinematic universe. Just watch a
I'm all
funny
for that,
movie.
though.
You
I just
know?
want I want just a fun movie for once.
Yeah.
Boy, we'll have to watch that.
Awesome.
And then lastly, Chippendale Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I haven't watched this.
So
Our kids did.
Did
The
we
kids
talk
did,
about-
so I
the
haven't.
kids
That's why I
watched
can't.
this?
Well, they watched it without us.
Were they at your parents?
This
No,
is
they
not
were at
for
Ryan
them.
and Natalie's.
This is not for them.
Well, they watched
Not
it
in
a
like
couple
a-
times, I think.
Nothing like this is inappropriate.
Well, that's the thing
Like,
is,
they just
I don't
wouldn't
think
get it?
I don't they didn't
All the jokes would go over their head.
right. They were like, that was fine. I don't want to
Well,
watch that again.
I mean,
And
is it
was like,
supposed
oh,
to
I
be
wanna
for
watch it.
essentially adults that watch it when they're
I
kids?
think it's
used to watch
for-
Chip and Dale.
Yeah, it's for people who watched Chip and Dale as kids. It's for
Okay.
30-somethings. It's made by Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island, the guys who did like Hot Rod and what was that Justin Bieber parody, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which is also very good.
Oh,
It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
okay.
because
Man, I used
they're
to love that movie.
they're washed up actors, the guys who played Chip and Dale.
Oh,
And Chip had to get CGI surgery to stay relevant. Like Dale is still cartoon,
oh shit.
and I think he's
Okay.
it's John Mulaney plays. I think maybe I'm mixing him up. It doesn't matter. John Mulaney is
Yeah.
Dale, and he's still cartoon from the show, right? Andy Samberg is Chip, and he got CGI surgery, and so he's really good
Oh
CGI.
my God, I've never seen this.
But like Ugly Sonic is in it because they're washed up actors, so they're doing like the convention shows of
So
like
it's very like Wreck-It Ralph of like
It's-
different
but-
characters come like.
and like the bad guy is Peter Pan because he's also not relevant anymore.
Man,
And he's like
Peter's a
fat.
douche, though. Let's be serious.
Yeah. And he the plot line is that Peter Pan abducts out of date characters and what's the term? He puts them into the bootleg market. He bootlegs them, right? So he makes
What the
Like-
F?
Chip and Dale 6 or Lion King 7, where he abducted
Oh.
Simba. He makes these crappy movies and
No.
resells them. And like, exactly, why would your kids ever want to watch this?
Well,
yeah, this wouldn't
yeah.
make any sense to them.
But
Well,
so they go to meet Peter. The big one, the relevant joke was they go to meet Peter Pan, and to get there, they end up walking through the uncanny valley,
oh shit!
where there's a whole bunch of CGI characters that are bad. Like they walk, like they float when they walk.
Yeah, it's like all
Or-
the D-list movies.
It shows the cats. There's 2 cats from the movie Cats wrestling in the trash.
Right, that's what I see
then-
here. And the
and
Polar
then-
Express.
Yeah, there's a Polar Express eyes joke in this movie.
Oh my
Where-
god, this is like our movie.
It's a dwarf from the movie The Hobbit, played by Seth Rogen. So he comes to the door, and the CGI is bad, right? Noticeably worse than the rest of the movie. And he has Polar Express eyes, where he's never really looking at
Yeah.
the characters, and they're like, "What are you looking at?" And I'm looking at you, and he's clearly like
Yeah.
way over here.
Oh my god.
right? And they're just talking to each other like, he's got those dead Polar Express eyes. And I just like they comboed all the things we hate about these
Yeah.
CGI movies into
It's
one
like-
string of jokes. And
I kinda wanna
think
watch
we
this
wrote
I know.
now.
I was
show.
like, I feel like we need to watch
Like, I
this.
can't force the kids
it's
to watch
for
it again,
adults.
though.
It's
Also,
for adults.
I used to
Yeah.
watch Rescue Rangers all the time.
I did too.
Man.
Chippendale.
Some crimes
Oh my gosh. There was like the fat
These
guy
two-
and like the hot.
That's
chick
Monterey
who
Jack?
Was, yeah. and-
Zipper and
Gosh, yes.
I never realized Monterey Jack was a cheese until I watched it now. And Zipper and
I just.
I don't, what was the
remember.
fly's name? Zipper and like Gumshoe or something.
Or-
And
yes, the fly.
so now
man.
they're
Between
20 years
that
past.
And like
they're
Baloo
married.
and his like airplane business. It's
Man,
like.
what about
That was
Darkwing Duck?
Tailspin.
Oh,
That was
Darkwing Duck.
Tailspin.
Too. That's what I mean, though. Like, I
Darkwing
feel like all those were like back
If there's
to back,
trouble,
right?
you call DW.
Darkwing Duck. Man, God,
Let's get
dangerous. And yeah, Tailspin
I think
had
he's in it,
like
actually.
the kid
I don't
and
even-
stuff. Oh my
Ugh.
god! And Rebecca owned like the plane business, and man, okay, sorry.
All right,
So,
I
it
got a
sounds
ton
like
of.
good
I gotta go like watch this movie just so I can like have some context.
It's
to
just
hear.
an experience. J.K.
Yeah,
Simmons.
it sounds like an '80s
in it.
kids
yeah, it's
movie,
It's,
essentially.
I don't understand how it got made. I have no idea how this movie got
That
made.
is weird.
The Coca-Cola bear is in it at the convention. Ugly
the
Sonic's in it.
Coca-Cola.
She-Ra. Like, they licensed so many
They went
properties
wild.
for these
Weird.
jokes. I don't understand
Right? Like,
it.
how much did that cost?
Yeah. I don't know.
This, Ben, we gotta wrap this up. Ben was telling me earlier, he's like, by the end, I don't know what to say, so I just say we should wrap this up.
When was I saying that?
You were seeing that earlier tonight. Well, we should wrap this up.
Say something. Say something a little more, I don't know, insulting to us or to the viewers.
Yeah.
Like, this has gone on long enough.
We know
Yeah.
you've had enough
Well,
of that.
we
Yeah.
know nobody's listening.
Can't believe
We're
you're
People
still
have
here.
stopped listening by now.
I
so we're gonna
hate
go
that kind
ahead.
of stuff, or like self-depreciating stuff on a podcast. Like, shut up, I'm listening. Don't say that.
I know. I'm usually like 2 more hours, please. But
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Would you rather?
Man, yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to have
still,
one ready,
Are
aren't
you
I?
okay?
I've still been playing Elden Ring.
Having a heart
Oh,
attack.
I can't
you can
stop.
talk about Elden Ring.
What am I supposed to say? So, we played it and talked
like,
about it
in
and beat it,
pain?
and then I was like, maybe I'll play it again as a caster because I
As
never
a
did any
joke?
magic the first time, and then right when I finished that playthrough, like I beat it using an intelligence build.
Again? Wow.
I watched I watched a donkey video where he was just running around with a big sword, and I was like, man, I wonder what it'd be like to do
Man,
that.
Jelly.
And so I was like, well, how fast could I beat it on just a strength build? Like, what if I just I know where everything is? What if I was like, how fast could I beat every boss that drops a remembrance? And so I'm just running around with a big sword, chopping people up.
Yikes.
I think I'm
Nice.
25 hours into this playthrough.
Holy shit. How early do you wake up every day?
Melania and the Faramazula, I haven't been there yet, but I'm in the Halig Tree.
Wow, this sounds like names I made up. Okay.
I still might beat her. I need to go back. I need you to beat her with me.
Summon me in with my big swords.
Yeah. You know what we have played, and I won't spend a ton of time on it, because I want to mention it because I was a hater at first.
Two.
Yeah, It Takes Two is a beautiful. No, Nintendo Switch Sports, which is just Nintendo
Oh.
esports.
Okay. Yeah.
Except now it's not free and there's fewer sports to play. It's
beautiful.
actually really good. They've kind of dumbed down the controls a little bit. It's more accessible to kids, but we've been playing it honestly every other day, either bowling or tennis. I think it's $40. Super great. What is there? Tennis, badminton, volleyball, which is kind of wonky. Soccer's kind of wonky. Chambara, which is sword fighting, and bowling. But I think they're going to add golf or something like that. Just super fun if you got a Switch at home.
Nice.
Great stuff. Yeah. I find myself bowling like kids are in bed, nothing to watch.
1 a.m. bowling.
Bowl a couple of rounds. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Got a 256.
Wow.
Never came close
Has
again.
Megan been doing the bowling? She's the pro.
Yeah.
And the fan.
Yeah. She's a bowler. The problem is the controls are not acute enough for her expertise
They're not
level.
realistic enough.
Okay.
Right.
She's like
too
actually
good.
so good
She
that
is.
the simulation.
Yeah.
is
Well, like my
just
kids can
throws
just
her
stand
off.
there and just wave it around and they'll still get 8 pins. So
I just remember in high school being like, Megan, do you want to hang out? And she'd be like, I have bowling tonight. And we were like, what the F are you talking about? And
Yeah.
she had to go to bowling. She had bowling. And then we would go a group teen thing. And she'd walk up and drop the ball and turn around and we'd go, what the fuck was that? And it would be like strike. Like it would slowly roll down there and we'd go, what are you kidding? She'd be like, I'm on a bowling league. And we're like, what is happening? Like she's like 85. I don't understand how it
Cool.
happened. She's a pro. So, but yeah, the Wii probably, it doesn't have her like I can drop and walk
Right.
away function.
Yeah.
So it was very strange, but she was a pro.
yeah.
Well,
Still
I
is.
was looking through my notebook here trying to find the page that I have Would You Rathers on. And I came across my notes about cats. I saw in huge letters, heavy side layer.
Wait, what? Oh, okay, yeah.
It's the same notebook that I do the D-list notes in.
Oh man, I love.
It just said heavy side layer.
The whole time during cats, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Man,
And I still.
I
don't
think
know.
that the combination of watching that movie and then doing the D list on it changed me somehow.
The thing is, the D-list, it kind of makes you always
Something happened
love
to you?
the movie, right?
Right,
Except
but
for
also,
downsizing.
oh God, I forgot about that.
Wait, which one would you say?
Downsizing?
Oh, downsizing was like, I don't think I've ever hated a movie.
Still probably the
before.
worst movie we've
That
seen.
is the worst movie we've
Yeah,
ever seen.
that was the worst one. That one's
And not like, oh, it's bad. Like,
Just
it should have
genuinely.
never. It's. I
Yeah,
don't
they
even
should
know how to
have
describe it.
thrown it out. It should have never been.
Never should that have
released.
been done.
Would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
Whisper.
Yeah, whisper, right?
First of all, I'm gonna assume shouting, like my throat hurts at that point. Also, nobody enjoys that, and you can never. There's no gossiping happening. You can't be like screaming
true.
about someone.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if anytime you had to talk to somebody, though, you have to, like, get super close to be like,
Better than screaming.
hey, come here, I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you don't have to say things like a creep. You can just talk normal, but whisper.
What do you want to have for dinner tonight?
Maybe you should not generalize. I don't know. Something about that.
What do you want to have for dinner tonight?
Can you imagine how people would be pissed at you all the time if you yelled? It's like
Yeah, that would
you're
probably
screaming at everyone.
You'd always seem angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And half the time you'd have to like.
You're that loud guy,
Ugh, nobody enjoys
but
that.
otherwise you're the low talker.
I'd rather have that.
I'd rather take the low talker, yeah. I'd rather
Yeah.
be the low talker, rather work with the low talker, yep.
I'll lean
Yep.
in. I'm fine with leaning in rather than someone screaming in my face. Oi, my would you rather is what?
My would you rather notes are right next to the Green Lantern, and it says ring slinging in quotes.
We just need quotes at the end.
Sorry.
Of the
Go ahead.
Mine is would you rather. You can only pick one to have for the rest of your life. Would you
Oh,
rather
man.
be able to eat French fries or pizza? Now you can have other foods, but you can have one or the other.
You just
can't.
eliminated one.
You eliminate
Well,
one.
you're never gonna have pizza
Yeah.
again, or you're never gonna have French fries again.
Yeah, which one?
Easy. Never gonna have
What?
French fries again.
I would say pizza. I don't care about. What about you, Ben? And that's mainly because I'm 35 and now pizza hurts my tummy.
Speaking
Yeah,
of, I had
the
a
acidic tomato sauce, the yeasty crust.
I can't
fatty
eat the
sounds
crust.
cheese.
delicious. You're just saying all my favorite adjectives.
See, it sounds delicious, and then I eat it, and I go, "What kind of hell is this?" And my stomach is in severe pain. So I'm gonna stick with a really good French fry, and you can like season those babies up like a garlic
Nice,
parmesan.
salty.
It's no pizza though. No pizza.
I think I would have to keep pizza.
Oh
Yeah.
man!
But I
you're gonna take
love
the sick
French
tummy.
fries.
Well, I'll eat the French fries. I mean, I
French
love a
fries.
good pizza, but
The thing is, like-
fry?
I'm just not a French fry guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like if I was.
I mean,
gonna
I'll
go,
eat them. If they're
Yeah.
in front of me, I will inhale them. But I won't go out of my way to order them.
Yeah,
If I was like out somewhere and it's like a burger and fries, and somebody was like, "You can only have one of those," I'd probably have the fries.
have a burger. And
Really?
fries?
Like if I'm gonna get in a burger and fries, like like good fries, good
Sure.
burger, but I can only eat one of them, I probably eat the fries.
I always want the fries. Yeah,
Salty.
but you pick pizza, so get out of here.
I like. Well, yeah, that tells you how much I like pizza.
It's true. It's true.
I have to have the right crust though, because as soon as that goes
just
wrong,
don't-
it's like get it.
I don't
want
want to give up pizza. There's some good pizzas. There's some not good
right,
pizzas.
right.
There's okay pizza. But you know what? The best pizzas is better than the best fries.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
And that's out
I
there.
mean, I like both though, so I wouldn't be. I'd be happy kind of either way for the most part. But Ken,
I got a real easy one up front for me and Ben,
All right.
because I know the answer already. Would you rather be gassy on the first date or on your wedding night?
Wedding night.
Well, I was going to say both. Don't really have a choice.
Good question.
Yeah, all right.
Trying to explain away the amount of gas on a first date. It's like unnecessarily distracting.
It also depends on the first date. Like, are you eating outside, or are you guys like trapped in the basement?
Doesn't matter,
what I mean?
Typically.
That's
that
true.
would matter.
You're right.
That would be a big difference.
Could you imagine hot boxing in a basement?
That's what I mean.
Why are you on a basement on your first date?
No, I mean, like, are you watching a movie downstairs? You in the car? Are you outside having dinner? Those are big
Better hope we're
differences.
not in the car.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. R.I.P. All right. Mine's a bit of a bummer.
Okay.
Maybe I don't want to use this. Here, I'll skip it. Would you rather sip gin with friend of the show Ryan Reynolds or shoot tequila with Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Presumably each of their respective liquor brands.
Their liquor brands.
Well, first of all, I think I would vomit if I had tequila, so I'm gonna have to go with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, you can sip either.
It
says shoot gin here. Or shoot tequila, excuse me. Nobody shoots gin.
It's about drive. It's about power.
The Rock's cool, but I feel like I would.
At me. But even he knows it's a joke. He knows it's a bad
Oh my
rap
god,
song.
I hate that. I feel like I would get along with Ryan Reynolds better. So I'm gonna take him.
I thought
We could talk shop with The Rock.
See,
Yeah.
you guys could.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Ryan, I could be like, so about Green Lantern. And like, we could have an honest conversation.
He would go with it, right?
Yeah, he's like goofy. He likes to joke around.
That's true.
Where The Rock, I feel like, would be very serious about things.
Like,
and I
what's a
would
crappy
just
movie
be trying to goof around.
But
I'm sure
I'm
you could
wondering,
find
are you know, what sort of rock version of The Rock are you getting? Is it sort of like this is like a publicity thing that I signed up for, and
No, let's say it's like a.
because I feel like if you're sitting
casual-
down with gin with Ryan Reynolds, he's probably going to be very
natural.
easy to talk to, natural. With The Rock, you could get,
That's what I'm saying.
but you
Yeah,
might get
you're right.
cool rock, cool relaxed rock.
I
don't know if he's ever cool and
no
relaxed.
doubt
That's what
that
I'm
he's
afraid
cool.
of.
Relaxed.
I feel like he's always a little bit intense, and I don't.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
would just need like Ryan Reynolds to be like. He just can admit that he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
I do
for
like
something.
gin more than tequila, but I
That
only
too.
say that
Me
because
too.
I haven't drank tequila. I maybe I do like tequila. I haven't had
hate
tequila
Had
since
The Rock's tequila.
Hezzy was walking around with a handle of Jose Cuervo and he was passed out in the pantry. It was like he had like done his belt through the handle, so it was like on his hip, like a
Like it was like a
like he
tool
was in
belt,
the Wild
but
West. And he would
I
pour shots off of
can't
his belt
stand.
for people.
Like when people have margaritas, the smell of it, I just
Yeah,
can't.
it's pretty-
I can't
it's
stand
too
it.
much.
Maybe you need The Rock's tequila. It'll
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not
We
saying
should.
that
I'll
much,
tell you
but
what. Special episode. We're gonna get some of each, and we're gonna
taste test.
taste test.
that is a wonderful idea.
We could.
Something
I
we
will
can look
vomit
forward to.
for the tequila, but
On another episode of the Day Night Dice
Can't we-
podcast. Yes,
can we try to ask them to send us some?
maybe.
Shit, we're in Michigan.
Yeah.
You can't send anything in Michigan.
Well, guys, that brings us to the close of this episode. Thanks
Gonna
for tuning
stab me
in.
With the pen. Stop waving a pen in my face.
I had a blast recording this episode, and I had even more fun recording the part that we lost to time. No, that's not true.
No.
So anyway, if you want more Day Night Dice content, you can always see the video version of this podcast on YouTube. We also throw our D-list movie reviews up there, and we have our new segment called On Our Shelf, where we talk about games on our board game shelf. Emily, it sounds like you want to say something.
I also want to say a big thank you to our Patreon members.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Ryan Quinn. We have Phil. I don't know if he has his last name in the thing. Phil Brenz. Joe Madigan.
Wow.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Just shout
That
out
is
Queen.
that's
Wow.
memory. If there's anyone
Voice
else, I want
shout
to say
out.
a big thank you because they essentially helped us buy our D-list movies so that we can do the podcast. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Nice.
Well, and until next time, we'll find out what's cooking in Ken's kitchen.
Why did you plug that at the end of all things?
We'll see you later.
It's like kitchen tools, like cooking.
Ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ba,
ding,
ba,
ding,
ba,
ding,
ba,
ding.
ba.